There's this gap, right? A space between the person you imagine yourself being and the person you actually are day to day. It's the difference between your grandest vision and your smallest actions. Well, this explainer, it's all about how we can finally close that gap. So let's just get right to it. Why does this happen? You have these huge, incredible dreams. The ambition is real, the desire is definitely there. So why does it so often just lead to nothing? What is this invisible wall that keeps our best selves locked away? I mean, we've all been there. You wake up, you're fired up. Today's the day. And then you glance at your phone, just for a second, and suddenly the whole morning is gone, vanished. By the end of the day, you're just left with this lingering disappointment, promising yourself you'll do better tomorrow. Look, this isn't some failure of your character, it's a failure of your strategy. Okay, so if we're gonna win this fight, we have to know who we're fighting. And the enemy isn't your schedule or your to-do list. It's inside you. So let's start by giving these forces a name. The ancient Greeks, believe it or not, had a word for this exact struggle. They called it akrasia. It's this bizarre human paradox of knowing exactly what you should do, but then choosing to do something else anyway. It's not that you're ignorant, it's a fundamental disconnect between your rational brain and your actual behavior. And this is what akrasia looks like in the real world, right? Your better judgment says study for that exam, but your actual action is, you know what, just one more episode. Or you need to hit the gym, but you get lost scrolling through your phone instead. This is the modern battlefield, where what we know is good for us goes head-to-head with what feels good right now. The author Stephen Pressfield gives this internal enemy another name, the resistance. He describes it as this universal force that is actively trying to stop you from doing anything that leads to growth. And its favorite weapon? Procrastination. Why? Because it's so incredibly easy to rationalize. We tell ourselves that little lie, I'll be more ready tomorrow, and we actually believe it. So how in the world do we fight back against this? Well, the answer isn't just more motivation. That stuff burns out. The answer is to install a better operating system in our brains. And the first step is to shift our focus away from the glorious finish line and onto the very first step. Now, this is absolutely crucial. Just fantasizing about the outcome. Picturing yourself holding the trophy, it feels amazing, but studies show it can actually kill your motivation. It kind of tricks your brain into feeling like the work is already done. But process simulation, that's different. That's a tool. It's about mentally walking through the actual work, the grind, the steps you need to take. So here's exactly how you do it. First, be crystal clear on your goal. Next, visualize the very first physical thing you need to do. Don't just see the completed project, see yourself opening your laptop. Then mentally walk through the whole process. And, this part is key, imagine the things that could go wrong. Picture the obstacles and then visualize yourself calmly and effectively dealing with them. Now you have a real plan, not just a daydream. Okay, a plan is great, but it's nothing without action. So now we move from the mind into the real world. This section is all about your toolkit. It's about how to build unstoppable momentum, one tiny, ridiculously easy step at a time. You see, resistance, it loves it when we feel overwhelmed. A task feels huge, and we just freeze up. So the antidote is to shrink that first step until it's so small it's almost laughable. Make it so easy that it's physically harder to say no than it is to just do it. You're not trying to build a castle today. You're just laying one single brick. A really powerful way to do this is called the 2-minute rule. Whatever your goal, just shrink it down to a version that takes less than 2 minutes to start. The point isn't to get amazing results in 2 minutes. The point is to master the art of just showing up. So read 50 books this year becomes read 1 page tonight. Write a novel becomes write 1 paragraph. These are what you call gateway habits. They're not the main event. They're just designed to get you through the door. Once you start, momentum often takes care of the rest. Now, let's talk about another hidden enemy, actual physical stress. When you're stressed out, your body is swimming in hormones that are basically screaming, danger! That shuts down the part of your brain that does long-term planning. You can't just think your way out of it. You have to move your way out of it. You have to physically signal to your body that the threat is gone. And the best way to do that is to complete the stress cycle. A brisk walk does it. A 5-minute dance party in your living room does it. Even just 60 seconds of deep breathing can tell your body, hey, we're safe now, which frees up your mind to focus again. All right, let's tackle the sneakiest form of resistance there is, perfectionism. We tell ourselves it's about having high standards, this intrinsic drive for quality, but let's be honest, most of the time, it's not. It's an extrinsic fear. It's a fear of being judged, of looking like a fool, of not being good enough right out of the gate. And that fear is why we stall.
So I want you to really hear this. Your goal is not to be flawless. Your goal is simply to show up. That's it. Let go of that external pressure. Your job today isn't to create a masterpiece, it's to make a mess. It's to write a crummy first draft. The quality will come later, through the process, not by waiting for perfection.
So, we've diagnosed the enemy. We've built the toolkit. But all this knowledge is completely useless if we don't act on it. This whole thing has been a waste of time if it doesn't lead you to take one small, real step. This final piece is about commitment. You know, this quote isn't just some nice, fluffy sentiment. It describes something real. The second you truly commit, the second you take that first step, things start to happen. Help appears from nowhere. The path becomes clearer, but none of it starts until you begin. And so I'm going to leave you with a direct question, not what you'll do tomorrow or next week, right now, today. What is the one imperfect 2-minute step you will take to become the person you want to be? Because the dream, that's free. But the doing, well, that's sold separately. If you found this useful, do me a favor and like the video and subscribe to the Thought Clinic for more tools to help you build a better life. Now, go take that step.